Welcome to your Monday. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne, aka your Mr. Monday, and this quick bit of motivation and inspiration was originally published on May 24th, 2021. The original message goes as follows. Your team can put out an impenetrable defensive effort, but unless your offensive squad can manage to put some points on the board, you can never truly win. And what's one of the more obvious messages we've had here going forward with this one, it's pretty simple to believe that it doesn't matter how many points you keep the other team from scoring. If you never actually score a point, you probably won't win the game unless you just are a big fan of 0-0 ties, which can be extremely, extremely frustrating in the world of sports, in the world of any sort of competition, to be honest. But it doesn't really matter how strong a defense that you have that's there. If you don't actually find a way to score and make points, you're not going to win the contest, and it's in whatever type of contest it is. And this is something that I see a lot as a sports fan, and I saw a lot managing or keep an eye on sports when I managed a sports radio station, because we had to keep an eye on the games, keep an eye on what's going on, and people were there to break down the actual games going on, because sometimes when things aren't very interesting, you got to make them interesting. And so you talk about things like defensive battles where scores are low because there's a lot of people keeping other folks from scoring, or pitchers duels where if you're watching baseball and there's not a lot of scoring going on because both pitchers are both hot that day and keeping both teams at bay from getting on base and making actual scores. Those make for extremely, extremely dramatic, extremely great shows and great games on the surface. But as a casual fan, if you're not putting points on the board, it doesn't really make it any interesting, which is why a lot of sports, when these things get to be too defensive, put in rules to make defense harder to do so that the scores go up. It doesn't necessarily mean the offense gets better. It literally puts shackles on the defense to keep them from doing things that can lock people down, making the game more exciting, even if it's not necessarily a better played game. But think about this in a more metaphorical way. You can do everything you can to block out other folks and defend yourself from their attacks. But if you're not actually advancing your efforts and putting scores on the board, points out there to show that you're in the game, you're not going to make any wins. If you're taking all your time in your life defending yourself from attacks and keeping yourself from being beaten down and being broken down and being put down, but not actually advancing your cause, speaking your truth, saying your message, doing your thing and moving forward, you're not going to get there. The same barricade you put up to keep others out, to protect yourself from whatever it is that could hurt you, is also a barrier that's going to keep you in and keep you from advancing and being as free as you can be. That's why the barricade is up there, to limit their freedom to come into your range, but it also limits your freedom to extend to wherever you want to go. If you're trying to protect yourself from something serious, then you might want to find more allies, more teammates, if you will, more people that can help you in this effort and actually help you do more things on the offensive, do more things on the forward positive end, while still maintaining that defensive sense. But just keep in mind, you're setting yourself up for an extremely boring contest, a very boring game if you're going to just focus on all defense and no offense in life. So if you want to do better, be better, it's simple. You got to put some points on the board. You got to advance the ball. You've got to put a field of team that can actually move ahead and go forward onto the offensive side towards the other person's goal, and not just do what you can to keep people out of your goal, off your side, and off your back. It's the curse of having some sort of mission in life, or some sort of vision, in that you have to go out there and take the slings and arrows and take the balls to the faces and take the kicks to the shins and take all the possible ways to be injured and beaten down and even lose the contest to show up to be in the contest and go forward. Yes, put up a good defense and make sure that you can push back as much as possible and keep them from gaining on you. But at the same time, no offense means no win. And if we're talking about life and not necessarily a game, we're talking about extremely dull, extremely boring life, and extremely dull and boring games as well. Your team can put out an impenetrable defensive effort, but unless your offensive squad can manage to put some points on the board, you can never truly win. This original message was published on May 24th, 2021 from Welcome to Your Monday. For more messages like this one, plus books, merchandise, and other information related to this project, visit the website, welcometoyourmonday.com.